So today we're going to be checking out a brand new 2021 release. This one is yet another Armani Code flanker. This one is Armani Code Eau de Parfum. So nothing too crazy here, nothing too fancy in terms of the name. This isn't a Profumo or an Absolu like we've already had. This is just Armani Code, but in an EDP concentration. Armani Code Eau de Toilette is what started it all, and that's really what spawned this whole line altogether. And now many years later, they're coming out with an Eau de Parfum. So I'm going to check this one out today, give you my first impressions on this one, tell you how it smells, and really how it compares to the original, and if I think this one's worth picking up. So here's the bottle. Looks pretty similar to the original, except you have a slightly different colored cap and also different colored lettering on the front of it. Here is the original bottle in a bit of a smaller size, but you get the idea. Just all blacked out. Looks very nice, very sleek. And then you have the EDP right here, which just has some different accent and colors to it. Does look really nice and kind of has a similar color profile to Armani Code Absolu and Absolu Gold. Just kind of the coloring of the cap and the letters here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the cap off, give this one a spray for the first time. It's also worth noting that the atomizer has a similar color as well, a nice kind of golden color there. Let's go ahead and give it a spray and see what we have. So right off the bat, it smells like Armani Code, 100%. They're definitely not reinventing the wheel here when it comes to the smell of this one. You know, some brands will go ahead and do that. For example, Dolce & Gabbana, the one Eau de Parfum Intense, kind of takes that DNA and completely changes it up. Of course, the EDP still does remain similar to the EDT, but you'll find some brands will take an EDP version, even though it's the same fragrance, and completely change it around. But here right off the bat, you're definitely getting that Armani Code smell. It does open up kind of fresh, aromatic, nice lavender note in here. A little bit of a sweet vanilla as well. It's kind of clean, but at the same time also kind of sweet and inviting, a little bit alluring, and kind of has this warm, spicy sexiness about it as well. So I'm going to go ahead and read off the note breakdown of this one. Up top we have lavender, lemon, and bergamot. In the mid we have tonka bean, and in the base we have vanilla, cedar, suede, and musk. So for me, the lavender is coming through right away. To be honest, in terms of the citruses that are listed, not really picking up on either of those. Maybe just a little bit of a slight tart type of smell coming from the bergamot, but that's really about it. Really for me, the main focus right off the bat is that lavender. The tonka bean does start to come in right after that, giving it a little bit of a powderiness and that sweetness, which is what I'm getting from this one. And the vanilla is also coming into play as well. It's kind of a tonka bean vanilla mixture along with that nice, clean, fresh lavender in the opening. So it's got lavender up top, giving it a nice freshness, and then tonka bean vanilla kind of in the mid/base, just giving it that nice warm depth. Along with that is this cedarwood note that is listed and that I do pick up on as well, just giving it a nice woodiness, a bit of a masculine touch about it, and also just a little bit of a dry type of smell. You know, this fragrance here doesn't have too many notes that are masculine leaning. You know, a lot of them, like tonka bean and vanilla, depending on how they're used, could be powdery and could put it in the sweeter direction, making the fragrance perhaps feminine leaning. But the cedar wood in this one, along with a little bit of suede and a nice strong musk, and those notes are what makes this one come back to a bit more of a masculine, traditional type of smell. Really, for the most part, right off the tester strip here, my initial thoughts is this really is just a stronger, more intense version of Armani Code, the original. You know, the bestseller or the popular fragrance that you guys all know very well at this point, which doesn't really hold up and perform the best anymore. If you want a nice, richer, and stronger alternative, Armani Code Eau de Parfum is going to be the way to go. Of course, this being my first impressions, I can't talk about performance or anything like that yet. That's something I'm going to have to test and then come back in a full review and touch on. I would say more likely than not, this one's going to have better performance than the Eau de Toilette. Just kind of how it goes with these type of releases, at least until maybe some reformulations or something like that does happen down the road. But as of right now, I would say, you know, this is definitely going to be a stronger version of this fragrance than the Eau de Toilette, which has been gone through and changed around over the years. There's a reason why this DNA is a best seller. It's ultra versatile. I mean, this is the type of fragrance that you could spray on and wear to work, to school, on a date, casually, even formally as well. It's just something that's going to work for really in any situation that you can throw at it. It's not anything that you have to plan out too hard or really kind of fit into your schedule. It's one that you can just kind of grab and spray on and wear and know that's going to work for whatever situation you're going to. And that's the same with the Eau de Toilette as well. But again, like I've talked about, the main issues with that one is going to be the performance. Nowadays, it really just doesn't hold up. I find this one, compared to the Eau de Toilette, has more richness. So leaving performance aside here, talking about scent, this one is more rich. It has more body to it. It just has a bit more going on. It's got a bit more strength, not in terms of performance, which I'm sure it does, but we're not talking about, but more in terms of just the smell. It has a bit more character, a bit more substance to it, and it just smells like it's going to be something that will last longer on the skin and may perhaps even project out a little bit stronger as well. That cedar wood in here really pops. It mixes great with the vanilla, great with the suede, that muskiness in the base, just giving it a little bit of a stronger edge. And of course, that tonka bean coming through, just giving a little bit of a powdery sweetness. Of course, the tonka bean does carry through the rest of the flankers as well. Armani Code Profumo, Armani Code Absolute, A-List, right? They all use that tonka bean. I'm pretty sure even Armani Code Colonia has that tonka bean kind of powdery sweetness in there as well. So the whole line uses the note pretty heavily. This one here, it is being used strong, but because of the cedar, because of the musk, it does have a masculine touch to it. So don't think this is going to be something that is going to be a bit more sweet and unisex leaning like maybe Profumo would be or Absolute. I would say if you're after something that is going to have a very strong, dominant, masculine touch about it, Armani Code Eau de Parfum is going to have that over Absolute and Profumo. Those are going in a much more sweet and maybe slightly youthful, slightly bubblegummy direction. This one kind of ties it back with that lavender and the suede, the musk, and the cedar wood, just to give it a bit more of a classic, traditional masculine feel. Now, is this a fragrance that blows my mind? It really doesn't. I mean, this is something that we have smelled. However, I do think it is a solid flanker, just off my first impressions here. Armani Code still smells great, still does hold up. It's not a fragrance that blows my mind, but it is a fragrance that does get the job done. If you're a guy who's wanting to build up a pretty limited collection, you don't want to go too crazy, you want something that's going to be a good, versatile signature scent, Armani Code is a great scent. The Eau de Toilette just doesn't really have it in it anymore, but this new Eau de Parfum here has pretty high chances that this one is going to definitely overtake the outdated Eau de Toilette. Not in terms of scent, of course. It's not an outdated scent. It's basically timeless, but more so in terms of the performance behind it. It just has been watered down. It's been changed over the years. And new Eau de Parfum refresh is really what we needed to bring this back to life. So guys, that's pretty much going to do it for me. That's my first impressions on Armani Code Eau de Parfum. Right off the bat, smells fantastic. I'm going to test this one more, going to wear this one more, and I'll come back for a full review and give you my thoughts on performance and all of that type of stuff. So if you guys are excited to try this one, let me know down below. And if you have tried this one, let me know what you think down below and how it compares to just the OG Armani Code Eau de Toilette. That's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.